AG Members Corporate Finance Podcast Series. Episode 3 by Econsis and Audit Alliance LLP. Today's hot topics are global and European M&A outlook, cross-border transactions, private equity and mid-market dynamics, technology and AI in M&A. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Alinel Global Podcast Series, where we bring you conversation with leaders and innovators shaping the future of corporate finance and advisory. Today, we are diving into a discussion that blends expertise, forward-thinking strategy, and global perspective. Before we dive into today's conversation, let me introduce a firm that's redefining what it means to deliver integrated financial advisory. Yes, Econsis, based in Munich, Germany. Econsis is a multidisciplinary consultancy firm with over 130 experts spanning tax, legal, audit, and corporate finance. For more than 60 years, they have helped businesses from mid-sized firms to international groups navigate complexity with clarity. Their strength lies in forward-thinking solutions, ESG leadership, and a deep understanding of cross-border transactions and growth strategies. For the corporate finance community, Econsis is more than a service provider. They are a strategic partner for sustainable value creation. And now, I am thrilled to welcome Kirsten Weidenbach-Koschnicke, Managing Partner at Econsis. Kirsten brings over 2 decades of experience in audit, tax, structuring, and due diligence. Much of it shaped by her work with Big Four firms and her own advisory practice. She is a recognized voice in ESG strategy, transfer pricing, and international finance. She is known for her ability to bridge technical rigor with visionary leadership. Kirsten's insights are especially relevant for our corporate finance listeners navigating valuation, compliance, and sustainable growth in today's evolving landscape. Thank you very much for joining in today, Kirsten. Thank you for your time. A very warm welcome.
Thank you so much for having me and creating this wonderful podcast. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you very much, Kirsten, for joining us. Okay, listeners, before we begin with our discussion for today, let me give you an overview of the topics we will be discussing for today. So our main agenda's topics are global and European M&A outlook, cross-border transactions, private equity and mid-market dynamics, and also technology and AI in M&A. Indeed, a very important topic for this era. ESG and sustainable finance. And that will be our last but very important topic. Beginning up with our discussion for today with global and European M&A outlook. Kirsten, how would you describe the current M&A climate globally and specifically in Europe?
We are seeing fewer mega deals, but more targeted strategic acquisitions, especially in tech, healthcare, and energy transition sectors. So investors want stability with growth potential.
Great. That's insightful. So while the frenzy has slowed, we are seeing more focused and purpose-driven transaction. Kirsten, another question on the same topic area. Do you expect macroeconomic factors such as interest rate changes to shift deal momentum in the coming year?
Yeah, we expect them to shift the deal momentum because lower interest rates revive private equity appetite and reduce the financing costs, making cross-border activity more attractive again. And we are really looking forward to this movement.
Great. So we might not be back to records highs yet, but the fundamentals are setting up for renewed confidence. Kirsten, what do you see as the biggest opportunities in cross-border deals today?
I think the cultural surprise is one of the most important triggers of such deals because we call it the nose factor. It's on both sides, on the target and investor sides. And for us as Germans, we love precision and structure. While some other markets prefer more flexibility, they want to speed up and build up personal relationships. So this can lead to miscommunication but also to better rounded outcomes if you just play this game as well.
Okay, that resonates. Expanding beyond borders is not just about growth, it's also about resilience. Very well said. What are the main challenges firms face in cross-border M&A?
If we consider what makes a deal successful, I hope that our consent strategy meets these success factors. So we want to build up trust, transparency, adaptability, and a sense for cultural sensitivity, and of course, strong financial backgrounds. And in order not to lead these deals to collapse because of some misunderstandings or other ways to handle deals. And we are in the professional service sector, so it's all about trust. If you trust the other side, you will find a solution. If you do not trust the other side, you can pay anything and will not make the deal.
Correct, exactly. The technicals may be universal, but the people and local context that determine the deal's success. Very, very rightly said. To our next discussion area, Keston, for today, that is private equity and mid-market dynamics. What do you think is private equity so focused on Europe's mid-market, especially Germany's Mittelstand?
I think the German Mittelstand is something very special. It comprises companies which are profitable, more or less family owned, and they are leaders in their niche market. So the whole world is a market, and the name of the companies is often even not known. But it's very interesting because it's making the business resilient and innovative, and therefore there's a perfect PE target.
Great. Indeed, the Mittelstand is often described as Europe's hidden engine, powering both innovation and stability. Very well said. Kirsten, how do you see private equity shaping Europe's corporate landscape in the coming years?
I think the impact of private equity will grow, and we see this development right now. And with so much dry powder waiting to be developed, mid-market private equity deals will dominate for the next few years. So I think the big deals, the mega deals, they are out right now. But if they focus on the strategic entities, so Mittelstand is just perfect for private equity entries.
That's a critical point. Private equity is not just about injecting capital, but also scaling capabilities. Very rightly said. Talking about our topic area of discussion, that is technology and AI in M&A, very important. How do you think technology is, particularly AI, changing M&A processes?
I think it helps us to fight the war of talents and to run a growing business with a stable or decreasing amount of staff. And so this automation and digitalization processes helps us to run from due diligences through analytics for valuations, it automatically by AI. And so we will expect to save time and reduce errors. But of course, we always need a human being to reflect the audit approach and to check the results. So what does it mean? Yeah. And therefore, I think it's absolutely irreplaceable in this process, but as well, the professionals are irreplaceable as well. But I think we can gain a lot of efficiency and a better quality.
Correct, absolutely. Technology can accelerate analysis, but relationships and judgments still close the deal. Very rightly said. Do you see digital transformation as a key driver for the future acquisitions?
Absolutely, because the digital transformation is the next step to Industry 4.0, and it helps to gain efficiency, it helps to structure, it helps to gain quality in areas which have not been strongly affected by technical goals right now. And
Okay.
so investors will just identify this degree of technicalization as a success factor, and they value it. If you fulfill, your multiple rises. If you are left behind, the company values will be left behind as well.
So in a way, M&A is becoming a fast track to innovation.
Yeah.
Very well said. Moving on to our topic, ESG and sustainable finance, our last discussion area for today, but not the least, obviously. How are ESG factors influencing M&A decisions in Europe?
I think if the M&A decision is pending, investors clearly focus on ESG and they want to have met minimum criteria here. Because the situation is a little bit pending, so we already do not know what medium-sized entities have to report in 2 years. But of course, the whole process has to be structured. And even in our professional valuation guideline, ESG is identified as a value driver. And of course, this comprises the whole M&A market. So if you're not prepared, the market will price this. Yeah.
It's clear. Very well said. ESG has moved from being a checkbox to a strategic driver of value. Very true. Kirsten, do you think ESG integration gives companies a competitive edge in the M&A?
Yeah, I think so. Because if you just step one step behind and see the big picture, so what is ESG about? If you do not have so much waste, if you do not have so much CO2 transmissions, you do not use so much input factors to produce your products. So it's a driver for efficiency as well. And this efficiency is just becomes transparent by the costs. Because if you learn to produce the same amount by using less input factors, your cost efficiency also rises. And of course, in the international system of sustainability, the emissions are a cost factor as well. So it's a good thing for companies to get prepared and to structure their processes, even reflecting ESG needs.
Great, that's encouraging. That means ESG is not just about a responsibility, it's about competitive advantage these days. Very insightful. Kirsten, before moving to the closing of our podcast for today, I would like to ask about your experience with the M&A in your career. Would you like to highlight some of the lessons that you have learned from your career in the M&A?
Yes, one really important lesson is that not every deal should be done. Sometimes walking away is the smartest move.
Wonderful and very well said, a timeless truth. Indeed, a very insightful discussion for today with you, Kirsten. And based on your experience, I would like you that what advice would you give to the young professionals in the corporate finance community?
I think it's really important not to focus only on the technical facts. So it's one thing to understand how reports are created, how calculations are made, what rules have to be obeyed. But it's always people's business. So if you enter a room, you have to find out, you have to manage the egos in, and you have to find out about the relationship between the acting people. And you have to manage this as well. And I think 50% of success factors are related to the social component.
That's a great advice. The future deal maker is part analyst, part negotiator, and part diplomat. Very rightly said. Thank you very much for your time today, Keston. And viewers, that brings us to the end of today's conversation. A big thank you to Keston Weidenbach-Kosnicki for sharing her insights, and to Econsus for the incredible work they are doing to drive sustainable and strategic growth in the corporate finance community. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to the Alina Global podcast. Stay connected with us for more stories, strategies, and voices from around the world that are shaping the future of professional services. Until next time, see you and have beautiful days ahead. Thank you very much.